Alright, good evening everybody and welcome to the season opener as we kick off another series here with the Diehard Racing League. As you can tell, we are no longer in the ill-handling Xfinity cars. We have gone back to the K&Ns. We're going to start the season off tonight here at the world-famous Charlotte Motor Speedway. And go ahead and pull up the track. We are going to be doing the Western Auto 200. I've taken it upon myself to start naming all these races that I call to make them sound legitimate, so that's the best I could come up with, so yes. Now, anybody who knows Charlotte, we are in North Carolina. This is a 1.5 mile track. It was formerly known as Lowe's Motor Speedway back in the day of when NASCAR went racer with the wings and everything, but thankfully they went back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Weather, we race fixed weather, so air temp 78, track temp is 103.6, and as always 55 degrees of relative humidity. Sometimes it's more than 55% humidity, but tonight we're going to be going 133 laps, 199.5 miles. We have, I do believe, 16 entries tonight. As we see, I believe that's the 10 there, Todd Cray mowing some grass here. We have come up to the 2-minute warning here in practice, and then we'll go straight to qualifying. We take a good look here at the 4 of Caleb Thompson. The one thing I've noticed watching through practice here is it does appear these cars either do one of two things in the long run. They'll either get very, very aero-tight, or they'll get very, very loose. It all depends. And we all know that, especially here at Charlotte, touching the apron is guaranteed certain death. Seen a couple instances of that happening, but I think we're going to see some pretty good racing here. Everybody loves the K&N cars. We've used them enough that, and especially since we've run them enough on all variants of tracks from Martinsville to Talladega, that everybody's got a pretty good understanding of how these cars are going to handle on the long run. But if you look at some of the lap counters here, we've got several drivers almost hitting 100 laps here in practice, some over 100, and no surprise, fastest in practice right now is the 75 of Robert Barris with a 28.643. Right behind him, the 10 of Todd Cray with a 28.707. And third, Joshua Jones in the 76 with a 28.708. So we see the we're looking at the 28 and the 113, I believe. No, the 127. Now those are new league members here. The next race, their actual number will show, as now we see the 76 of Joshua Jones and the 68 of James Brown, once again running the AC Delco Chevrolet. And I don't know how many times we told him that he should change that paint scheme, but he keeps going back to it. Looking at the track, I can tell that there's definitely a lot more rubber laid down in the corners, because when practice started almost 2 hours ago, it was a lot lighter than it is right now, especially out of 1 and 2. There's a lot of rubber in there, as well as 3 and 4, so it should make for what we traditionally see here, which is going to be on fresh tires, trying to apex the low line and come up, but then we'll see a lot of people using the mid to high line. As practice is going to come to an end here, we're going to advance into qualifying. Now it is single car, no quick repairs, no restrictions on fuel. So, oh wow, Rodney Kramer doing a nice imitation of me there, wall riding there out of turn 1. Single car qual, and just once again, no fast repairs. Full fuel load, so these guys really have to manage their cars. You see Adam get a little bit loose there. Now it's randomly going to jump around from car to car to car to car because it is solo qualifying, so as it finds different cars on track, IRTVO will kind of jump around to them. You see the 75 of Robert Barris, the 10 there of Todd Cray.
If this race is anything like the official races that I've seen this week, it's really hard to pass here, so qualifying is going to be very important for these guys.
That it is. And for those of you who aren't really too familiar with that voice, Alan is only with me on Saturdays, and I think we're doing a limited schedule here with Diehard. It all depends on whether me and Mike feel like racing or not, but that is the voice of my other partner in crime and fully endorser of Bad Ideas, Mike Major. As we wait for the times to come in, take a look and see who is the fastest. Right now, it would be the 10 of Todd Cray with a 28.660.
There's some fast times in this room right now.
Well, you look all the way back to 9th, and they're all in the 28s. The first 29 is 10th position with a 29.016. As of right now, that time that Todd has laid down is going to stick, but they do have 5 minutes or 2 laps to get it in the books.
Robert also hasn't put down a lap yet, and he's out in track, so we'll see what he has to do.
If there's anybody that can top the 660, it's going to be Robert. And there it is, 6:56. Didn't take long for that to switch.
Top 6, that's unbelievable how close they are together.
Wow, yeah. From pole running a 28.656 back to 6th place with a 6.93, so literally all within a 10th of each other there. And then ironically, we look back to 10th place, or actually to 11th place, 7th to 11th, all in the 28.7s. I think a lot of these drivers are going to take the opportunity too, after laying down the 2 qualifying laps, to go out there and just run until the time runs up, rather than sit on pit road and wait the remaining time. So as we know that qualifying is coming to a close, we're going to go ahead and ask that everybody please stand and remove your hats as we bring out the U.S. Army Marching Band for the National Anthem. Great job, as always, by the U.S. Army Marching Band there. We should see the session switch over here any moment, and we will get the gridding up for you. and a run through of tonight's starting order. So we look around the track here. We can see the rubber buildup here. Now, they do give 10 minutes of qualifying time, but that's a lot of time to lay down 2 laps, which is why we saw some of the drivers out there putting in some extra laps just as a precaution. But seeing how the track is cleared, it was only fitting to get the anthem there. That way we can properly roll through the starting grid. But looking at it, as far as the RTVO is concerned, and then we watched it happen, Robert Barris is going to be our pole sitter tonight with a 28.656, which barely beats out the 10 of Todd Cray, who ran a 28.660. So matter of hundredths of a second there to separate first from second. Usually we do not have this much dead air time, and just looking at a track here, because normally qualifying isn't as long as it is. Usually that's for open qual, but we have to sit here and let the session advance, or I would have manually advanced it myself. But the word is right now the pre-race speech is going down. The quick little drivers meeting before we kick off here for 133 laps. Now, every race is as close to 200 miles as possible. So tonight, since this is a 1.5 mile track, 133 laps equals 199.5 miles. So that's why we do our weird numbered laps. It's to get it as close to without going over 200 miles as possible. If these guys can keep it green flag tonight, I think it's going to be a strategy run of who can manage their tires the most, because without having a fuel restriction, these cars can go easily 50-60 laps on a tank of fuel. But we all know, or for those of you that don't know, as the car gets lighter as it burns off the fuel, it gets tighter and you start wearing the tires out more. So you either have to make the decision to pit early, or you make the decision to start slowing down your lap times to conserve your tires, and then watch and see what the strategy is going to dictate from other drivers. If you see others start short pitting, you pretty much have to decide from the beginning of the race how you're going to set yourself up, whether you're going to do it in 1 stop, 2 stop, and then if a caution comes into play, that can change the strategy significantly, because that'll potentially put everybody on a level playing field. So there's a lot of different variables. It's not the same as when we're at a plate track where we know that it's just flat out, got to pit, flat out again, big wreck, race in the books. Here, there's a lot more strategy involved, a lot more. You got to have a lot more patience, especially once the cars get broken in, the tires are there. It becomes a hard place to pass. As now the session finally is going to kick over to gridding here, so we'll go ahead and let that do that, and we're going to pull up tonight's grid. So starting on pole, we have Robert Barris with a 28.656. Starting outside of him, the 10 of Todd Cray with a 28.660. Row 2, the 80 of Adam Jones with a 28.675. Starting fourth will be the 76 of Josh Jones with a 28.683. Rolling off fifth will be the 77 of Seth Schultz with a 28.684. John Morrison, the 43, will roll off sixth with a 28.693. Caleb Thompson in the 4 will start seventh tonight with a 28.719. Corey Brown in the 23 rolls off eighth with a 28.728. Ninth goes to the 5 of Brad Speidel with a 28.729. 10th goes to, that's going to be one of the triple, the 127 of Sean Bradley, who ran a 28.735. The 66 of Ralph Vandervorst will start 11th with a 28.737. And the 113 of Joshua Stewart will roll off 12th with a 28.746. James Brown in the 68 will roll off 13th tonight with a 28.8 flat. Rodney Kramer will start 14th in that 6 machine with a 28.823. Adam Nowinski in the 28.15th. Rusty Farrell will roll off 16th, and rounding out the field will be Douglas Hess in 17th. So as we get going here, we are on, as always, a crank it up start. So this will be interesting, as these cars normally at a plate track take about 2 laps to get to speed. They'll be well up to speed by the time they come around and hit that checkered flag for the first time. So less than half a lap away from taking the green here. We got 2 of our fastest guys making up the front row.
I think Todd's got the advantage on the start here. It's going to be easy to pinch Robert down, and it's going to be hard to exit the corners probably for Robert.
Definitely, especially given the nature of this track and the way that the officials have always gone. You want the high side. So I'm surprised that Robert actually took the low side. As the green flag is out, we are underway here at Charlotte. Let's see what these guys can do here. They come out of turn 2 for the first time. Todd is able to stay right there door to door with Robert as they go into turn 3. And Todd's going to back off and let Robert take that upper line. So as we come around to complete lap 1, give that lap to the 75 of Robert Barris. We see the 80 of Adam Jones and the 77 of Seth Schultz both making their way up there as they've gotten around the 10 of Todd Gray. Robert's already opened up a 4/10 of a second lead. I know you guys are used to seeing him in the old popsicle machine. iRacing has done away with the popsicle sponsorship, so now he is rocking the Club Ohio and Hellman's Mayonnaise K&N Chevy Impala. Everybody seems to be playing pretty much single file. You see the 43 down there on the inside. Other than that, everybody's pretty much just pacing themselves right now as we're looking at the 76 of Joshua Jones. He's got the 23 of Corey Brown right behind him, as well as the 4 of Caleb Thompson. See Corey trying to do the crossover there as we come through the quad oval. And also we've got the 77 of Seth Schultz trying to get around the 80 of Adam Jones. And now we've also got it going on back here. There's a lot of, now we're starting to see some jockeying for position. You see the 77 and the 10 both trying to get by the 80. And now we see the 23 Corey Brown trying to get under the 76.
Like I said in the pre-race, qualifying is going to be important. It's tough to pass here.
Very, very tough to pass. And these guys that end up getting down there on the bottom, the longer they stay down there and they're fighting for position, trying to stay off another car, the faster they are going to burn those tires up, and the quicker they're going to start falling back later on in the race, provided it stays green. You see Corey Brown is still trying to work over the 76 of Joshua Jones here. He's getting that nose out there in the quad oval, but he's not able to make the passes. Now we see the 10 of Todd Cray on the inside there of the 80. We look back to the 127 there and the 113. Pretty cool to see a Simpsons-inspired paint scheme there, the Duff Beer. It seems that the 80, even though he's got the good line, it seems that he's starting to fall off pace a little bit as he's losing positions. He's now under fire by the 76. As we see Corey, he's going to go up there and try and run that high line, which is going to open the door there for the 4 of Caleb Thompson. He's going to come down and try and challenge for that. We see Caleb and Corey are door to door as they come off a 2 here. Meanwhile, out front it is still the 75 of Robert Barris, who has opened up over a second gap now on second place to 77. You see right there, second car on screen. Directly behind him, though, is the 10 of Todd Cray. As we have 10 laps in the books here. Only 120 more to go. And I say only very loosely. So we take a look here at the 80 of Adam Jones. He is now settled back into the 6th position as he's trying to rally back and take the spot back from the 23 of Corey Brown. We're on that bottom side. If he stays down there too long, I don't think he's really going to benefit much, because you do burn those tires up a hell of a lot faster running that bottom lane than you do running the middle to high groove. As we can see, Corey has absolutely nothing to worry about. Now the 80 is under fire by the 4, the 127, and the 113. So we still continue to watch the 80 sliding backwards. He is now all the way back to 8th position. And he's still under fire as he's mired right back in that traffic there. At the 113 and the 5 of Brad Speidel, as he's going to continue to go back further. You see the 4 of Caleb Thompson there come up and throw the block going into the corner. So now the 80 has dropped back to 10th position. Could it be a strategy move, or is he just maybe a little gun shy with some of the guys that we have running up? But either way, looking up at the front, the intervals have changed quite a bit. Robert now only has a 6/10 of a second lead versus the 1.1 second that he had a few laps ago. But he'll probably stretch that back out, as right now the focus is on the 4 and the 5 as they're both trying to charge forward on the inside line here as they're coming off of turn 3 there. The 4 trying to work over the 127 and the 5 trying to work over the 113. we look there at the 80 of Adam Jones, it looks like he's kind of settled in there. The next person to come up and try and challenge for a position will be the 68 of James Brown. That will be for 10th spot.
Now, just so all the viewers know, James Brown guaranteed me he was going to win this race, and he said he was absolutely going to win it. So let's see if he can actually back up his mouth.
Ooh, a little contact on the wall there, the 113 as he came off of turn 2. Doesn't look like it was anything too heavy, just enough to slow him down, and that did allow the 68 to get around him as well as the 80. So now they'll cycle Joshua Stewart back to 11th, and Mr. I'm going to win this thing up to 10th, as now he's going to try and take 9th away from the 80. As we see the 5 still trying to work over the 4 of Caleb Thompson. They continue to battle door to door here. It's pretty tight-knit racing here. As we see the 68 slide up a little bit, that's going to allow the 113 to drop down and try and make the pass. But coming off of turn 2, you definitely want the high line. And I think we saw the 4 of Caleb Thompson as they go 3 wide there. He got a little piece of the wall there as well, which slowed him down, which allowed the 5 and the 80. And now the 68, the run that James has got here as they come off of turn 4, he should be able to clear the 4 as well. So that'll drop the 4 of Caleb Thompson to 9th position. So we can see that running that bottom groove there, you can definitely tell the run that the outside line gets, as now Caleb has dropped back to 10th. So move the 68 of James Brown up to 9th. And hopefully Caleb doesn't fall off too much more. He does have the 113 directly behind him, as well as the 31 of Douglas Hess, who's making a move on the outside, as we've got 20 laps in the books here. And up front, leader has not changed, but what has is second place, as the 77 is given second over to the 10. So once they get around the scoring loop here, it'll update now. Now Robert has a 1.7 second gap between him and the 10 of Todd Cray. So you see the 80 flirting a little bit with danger there down there by the apron. We're looking right now at 9th place. That will be the 31 there of Douglas Hess. And now we see the 28 of Adam Nowinski. Right now he is being scored in the 13th position. Behind him, the 25 of Rusty Farrell and the 66 of Ralph Vandervorst and the 43 of John Morris. And last car that you can see there in that pack will be the 6 of Rodney Kramer.
It's abnormal to see Rodney back there. This is one of his favorite tracks. I thought he'd be more up towards the middle of the pack, going one in front.
I think he might be doing what he did last time, the one-stop strategy. It seemed to work for him. He let everybody kind of wear their stuff out, and he kind of just rode in the back. But I do believe the last time we were here, we didn't go green flag the entire way. I think we had one caution, which kind of helped Rodney. But yeah, it is a little bit abnormal to see him backpacking it, but who knows? Any strategy could work right now. We got a battle going on up here. The 23 of Corey Brown, he is trying to march his way to the front of the field as he's gotten around the 76 of Joshua Jones. That'll give Corey 4th spot, as now he's going to try and set his sights on the 10 of Todd Cray. As you can see that lone car out front, that is the 75 of Robert Barris, and Corey branching way out there. He's going to...
That was great wreck avoidance, because Seth, I think, got in the wall a little bit there.
That's exactly what I was just about to allude to. So great move there by Corey, and he's going to pick up 3rd spot by doing so, and now he's going to try and take 2nd away from the 10 of Todd Cray. And now Corey in the wall. Corey's got some heavy damage there to the right side of that machine, so that's definitely going to slow him down, and all the progress that he made there marching towards the front, that's going to hurt him a little bit. It's not going to be as bad as, say, we were at like a 2 mile where it's a semi-draft dependent track. It's still going to hurt a little bit because he hit the wall harder than anybody that has yet so far. I mean, you can see the right rear of that car has got some damage. Right front's pushed in a little bit as well. Let's go ahead and, since we're on him, let's go ahead and take a look at his right front and see. Yeah, he's pushed the fender in a little bit on there. Take a look at the right rear as well. It's pretty well pancaked down the side. But with this not being, like I said, a draft-dependent track, it shouldn't hurt him too bad unless it upsets something in the suspension or the steering. But with that little move that happened there, that's allowed Robert Bears to open up a 3.5 second gap over these guys right here.
I think Robert's looking back in his rearview mirror and saying, thanks for keep hitting the wall, guys. Keep messing up.
Yep. As long as you don't pull a throttle yellow, just keep hitting the wall. Meanwhile, we are looking at the battle for 9th here. The 113, and then back there's, this is actually the battle for 10th, the 28 of Adam Nowinski and the 4 of Caleb Thompson. Adam right now in 11th and Caleb in 10th. Adam's going to try, if he goes into turn 3 here, he's got the low side. I think Caleb's going to give it to him, so that'll give Adam now 10th position. You see a little bit of damage there on the hood there on the right side of the 113. We also see the 25 of Rusty Farrell. Looks like he's going to try and look to the inside of the 31 of Douglas Hess. And looking here now, the 68 of James Brown, he was working over the 5 of Brad Speidel. He had him there going to the trial. Well, I don't know what happened there, but now he's sitting in 8th, and he's going to be under fire by the 113. So James is going to be down there on the low side, which is not the preferred line, especially now with 30 laps on those tires. James might be able to hold on. The tires aren't really doing as bad as we figured they would. 30 laps in, there's about a second fall off as to a fresh set of Goodyears. Now once they start pitting here and the longer people stay out, we're going to see the major difference, as now it's a 4.1 and growing gap from first to second. And it appears that the 76 of Joshua Jones has gotten around the 10 of Todd Cray. We're going to go on board for a lap or two with him. We're going to listen for the throttle play here as the tires are starting to wear out, how these drivers are working the throttle, and we're going to watch the steering wheel, see how much gets thrown into these corners. As you can barely see the race leader there, Robert is in the middle of 1 and 2. Hear him feathering the gas there in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, he can just roll out of it and let it sit there. And then 3 and 4, he's got to work it a little bit more. We look here, we can see pretty much the entire top 10 there back behind the 76. As the gap is continuing to grow, it's now 4.7 seconds and climbing. go back here to the 77 here of Seth Schultz, see if he's got anything for the 10 of Todd Cray. You see, despite hitting the wall as hard as he did, the 23 of Corey Brown is still holding on to 5th spot right now. In front of him, we have the 127 of Sean Bradley.
All right, I am getting a report from the 23 camp. His Stinger motor is losing power.
Not good to hear. Well, he did hit that wall a ton, so it would make sense that he would be down a little bit on power, but he's only lost 1 position after gaining a couple back. Because right now we're looking at the battle for 8th between the 113 of Joshua Stewart and the 28 of Adam Nowinski. And we might as well throw the 68 of James Brown there in the mix. This is for 8th, 9th, and 10th.
We haven't mentioned the 127 a lot, but he's so far has worked his way up to 5th.
Yeah, he's been moving ever since the start of the race. You can see right there, 3 different drivers, 3 different lines. The 113 holding the middle, the 28 on the bottom, and the 68 all the way up on the top groove. I'm surprised that Adam's transmission hasn't fallen out yet. I think they're good for about 45 laps. Then you have to go get a new transmission.
I think the crayons melted onto the transmission and are making it stick together.
They might have. I mean, I did build that Dodge for them, so anything could happen with it.
The real question is, did you put Allison's sister in it?
Nope. I couldn't afford her this time around. She wanted too much. See, the cars are now starting to get a little bit of a push out of turn 2. You see a lot of sway happening now. So look at the power move there by the 31 of Douglas Hess. He might be on fresh tires because that right there is not showing anything for position. So
Doug and Roger on fresh tires.
Yep. That would be 16th and 17th position. So you'll see that 31 and the 6 rocketing around these guys as they have already come down pit road. So green flag pits have started as we see right there a little bit of wreck avoidance by the 28 of Adam Nowinski. He had a dive to the inside coming off of turn 2 to avoid contact. He will get the spot though. As in front of him we have the Stinger that's starting to sting itself in 7th spot, so that'll move Adam up to 8th. As now the 113 is going to try and put his nose down there, but I don't think it's going to stick, especially with 40 plus laps on the tires. You definitely want to be running that high groove. But there's that 6 of Rodney Kramer. He is on fresh tires, so he'll easily be able to drop down to the bottom groove here and just pass these guys like they're sitting still. He makes it around those 3, no problem. Out front, it is a 5.7 second gap between the 75 of Robert Barris and the 76 of Joshua Jones. And then another 1.5 seconds back to the 77 of Seth Schultz in 3rd. We see the 23 going high there to let the 28 by. The 10 of Todd Cray on pit road, so that would be one of your front 5 on pit road. We also have the 43 now on pit road. 66 of Douglas Hess, Ralph Vandervorst. He has also come down pit road. The 4 of Caleb Thompson. James Brown was going to come down, but he missed the pit entrance there, so he's going to have to go around one more time. 127 is coming down right there, right now. Meanwhile, as we look, finally James is able to make it to his pits, or down pit road, so 68 on pit road. We'll also have the 80 pitting, Adam Jones, and now the 75, your race leader, Robert Barris, on pit road. The 76 and the 77 both opting to stay out. They're going to play a game of who's going to stay out and collect a point for leading the lap there. So that will hand your race lead for now over to the 76 machine there of Josh Jones. He has a 1.9, now 2-second gap over the 77. And we see the 76 blowing it up, so he's going to bring it down pit road. That'll cycle the lead over to the 77. The 5 of Brad Spottle also coming down pit road, the 113. So hand the lead over right there to the 77 of Seth Schultz. He's going to take the lead over. And that will bring the 28 of Adam Nowinski up to second. He's only 2.5 seconds back behind the 77 here, as I do believe Seth will be coming down this time now. That will give the lead over to the 28 of Adam Nowinski. So a lot of these guys that were sitting in the back are now up towards the front, as second place is now going to belong to the 25 of Rusty Farrell, the 23 of Corey Brown third. But they still have yet to pit, so once we get a full cycle here, we'll go through the top 10. But green flag pit stops are in full effect here, as we're going to be taking lap 50 at the line this time by. Now, if I know Adam's strategy right, he's going to try and do this in a one-stop race, which means he's going to have to go to at least lap 65. So all these guys, like there, the 10 of Todd Cray, he's still now on the tail end of the lead lap. He's going to give up a lot of time with those older tires. We see the 25 of Rusty Farrell. He's coming down pit road. So Adam's going to stay out. The 23 of Corey Brown, he's going to stay out as well, I believe. Yep, that'll move him up to second. So the longer that Adam stays out to make this a one-stop race, the more time he's going to lose to everybody who's already on fresher tires. But he does have the advantage that, as you can see there, the 76 and the 127 both getting around him. They're both on fresh tires, getting their lap back the hard way. The longer that Adam stays out, the more fall off there's going to be on the tires. The slower times he's going to be turning, as you see, he's got to lift a lot earlier going into the corners. He still has to go about another 13 laps if he wants to make it a one-stop and make it on fuel.
Yeah, I was just looking at the lap times, and Adam's time between Adam and Robert was 1.5 seconds per lap difference.
We see the 23 of Corey Brown getting passed by the 77 and 113 there. Once again, that's not for position. Your current race leader is still the 28 of Adam Nowinski, but as Mike said, there's a 1.5 second difference between 53 lap old tires and fresher tires. We see the 4 of Caleb Thompson. He's going to come up no problem and just motor right by. So now it's just a waiting game of how long you want to stay out. Do you bank for a late race caution? I mean, with these cars, we've seen a history of green flag start to finish races here, so I wouldn't put it past me if we go green flag the entire way here. So strategy is, like I preached it all throughout the pre-race and during qualifying, strategy is going to be key here. Because right now there are 9 cars on the lead lap. 2 more are about to get back on the lead lap, the 113 and the 77. So that'll put 11 cars back on the lead lap. Next in line to get a spot on the lead lap will be the 66 of Ralph Vandervorst. So at the line, roughly about 10 more laps, and I think that 28 machine should be good to go the rest of the race. I know he's going to try and stretch it as long as he can. He's led 8 laps so far. Josh Jones has led 1, Seth Schultz has led 1, and the remainder has gone to the 75 of Robert Barris, so that being 45 laps. As we see the 66 and the 68, they're both going to get their laps back. So we're starting to see more and more cars getting back on to the tail end of the lead pack, or the lead lap. So they used to do in plate races. The next person in line will be the 43 of John Morris to get his position back in it. Right there you can see he's going to come up in turn 3 and 4. See if he makes the move here, if he does it in the quad oval. So that'll put 14 cars back on the lead lap. That'll leave only 3 remaining, the 25 of Rusty Farrell, the 5 of Brad Speidel, and the 80 of Adam Jones.
It's going to be interesting to see when this cycles through, because Robert is now 8.5 back on Adam. He might be able to get him, so this could come down to the wire if Adam can make it this whole way.
It's definitely going to be probably one of the gutsiest strategy calls that I've seen, but if Adam can do this, then as much as I don't want to jinx it, if a caution were to come out right now, that probably would not work. It'd be better if it came out now versus later, because you work all these laps in on a strategy, and then you get a late race caution, you can pretty much take everything that you had learned and done throughout the entire race, throw it out the freaking window, because everybody's going to be on a level playing field, because you know all the cars are going to come down and take a fresh set of tires so they can battle it out in the remaining laps. So right now, Adam's kind of in like the danger zone. If the caution was to come out now, it's going to cut him short on fuel. And if we get a late race caution, it's also going to potentially hurt the 28, because him staying out as long as he has, it could jeopardize a lot of track position. As now the 25 of Rusty Farrell goes around him, that'll leave only the 80 and the 5 to get around and get back, and we'll have the entire field back on the lead lap. There's 61 laps in the books. Should see that 28 machine coming down pit road in possibly the next 5 to 7 laps. It all depends on how much fuel he has left and how long he wants to stretch it, because that gap between him and Robert is now down to 2.8 seconds. We see the 5 of Brad Speidel. He's got some heavy left front damage there from an earlier incident when he was getting on the pit road. That right there shows you that even with damage, fresh tires make a world of differences. That will now put 16 cars back on the lead lap. Actually, no, that's the whole field back on the lead lap. As Adam is now going to have a mirror full of the 75 of Robert Barris. It's down to less than a second, and that is shrinking rapidly. This will probably be the last lap that Adam is going to lead here, as Robert's going to motor by and take the lead back. And at that point, I'd probably pull it down pit road. Unless I'm still trying to, yeah, he's going for that one-stop fuel strategy. So he's got to try and work this as long as he possibly can. So right now the focus is primarily staying on this 28. He's opted to stay out, and you can see that already as they come across to take lap 64 here, there's already a 1.2 gap and go. And we got the 4 of Caleb Thompson down pit road after making some contact with the wall. Let's take a look at that car. See, he's taking some tires here. He's going to be sitting here on pit road. Let's go ahead and look at right front. You see some heavy damage there. Right rear, It doesn't look too bad. Let's go to his left front C. Left front tire's towed in a little bit, but that's the way it's supposed to be. He's got some left rear damage there, but other than that, he's looking not too bad. So he's going to sit there and take his optionals as he's going to roll off. And meanwhile, it's now a 4.5 second lead as we get the 31 down on pit road again. That should be his final time coming down pit road. We shift our focus back to that 28 of Adam Nowinski. He's still being scored in second spot, but that gap is growing ever more as we keep going. Six seconds and climbing. So I predicted around lap 65. He's now on lap 67 and he's still out there. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in the next couple laps now, because he should be well and clear now to make it the rest of the way. As we do, we see the 28. He's finally going to come down pit road. That will cycle everything out. He was the last car to pit, so we'll let him get on pit road, see what we get as far as servicing here. Obviously, there'll be 4 tires and fuel.
Oh, you know those tires are crying right now.
As he slides into the box, he overshoots a little bit. He's got to back up. Be interesting to see what his tires were at after running 67 laps on them. He was probably almost down to the rim. He is down and away. So running through, we'll give an entire field a rundown here. Out front, it's the 75 of Robert Barris. Second goes to the 76 of Joshua Jones. Todd Cray in the 10, third. The 127 of Sean Bradley in fourth. The 113 of Josh Stewart, fifth. Rodney Kramer in the sixth. Finally, we're seeing him starting to move up. He is in sixth spot right now. The 77 of Seth Schultz in seventh. James Brown in the 68 in eighth position. Ninth belongs to the 66 of Ralph Vandervorst. The 43 of John Morris will round out the top 10. Rusty Farrell in 11th in the 25. Adam Jones in the 80. Last car on the lead lap right now in 12th. The 5 of Brad Speidel in 13th. The 31 of Douglas Hess 14th. The 28 of Adam Nowinski 15th. Corey Brown in 16th in that 23 machine. They are all a lap down, and then rounding out the field will be the 4 of Caleb Thompson down 3 laps. So we are past halfway in this race, but we're almost at the part that I love the most, when we stop counting the laps up and we start counting them down. But now we're going to see that 28 moving around the field, but here comes the question. 67 laps. Is he going to have enough battling through traffic to get back up there and try and get a top 3, possibly try and go after Robert for the win?
I think he's saving right now. It looks like he's saving. He had a hard time getting around James, so I mean, James has been out there for quite some time, so I would assume he's in save mode the whole way.
Well, I know I definitely would be, especially if I was doing a one-stop race, like apparently Adam is going to be doing. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the field plays out. They're going to, well, most of them are going to be on a 2-stop strategy because they definitely cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel. Since we are at green flag, let's go ahead and shut up for a few laps as we go crank it up. Alright, so there's a few laps in the Crank It Up there. I always like the Crank It Up at a super speedway because it's just absolutely ridiculous how loud those cars are. But here at Charlotte, you do get that vortex type deal where everything does reverberate a lot. So especially if some of you have been to like some of the smaller tracks, they call Bristol Thunder Valley for a reason. I've been there many, many times to watch many races back in the days when you could still call it racing, and literally you could be walking probably about a mile from the track and you could feel the vibration in the ground from those cars. Just it's unreal. Martinsville, Richmond, hell, even Dover, you can go up to about a mile-sized track and you can feel the cars and not be even like remotely close to the stands. It's just amazing how loud these machines are in person versus what you guys hear on sim. So right now we see during the Crank It Up, the 6 of Rodney Kramer made another stop down pit road. So that would be, I believe, his 3rd time on pit road. And that'll be his RTBO showing me he's got 3 pit stops. Right now, Robert Barris and Josh Jones both with 1. Todd Cray with 2. 127 to 77 with 1. The 113, 2 stops. The 68, the 66, and the 25 with 1 stop. The 80 with 1, or the 80 with 2. The 5 with 1. The 31 with 3. The 28 with 2 stops. The 23 with 2. The 6 with 3. Yeah, I think our TBO is messed up on that because definitely I've seen a lot different. Yeah. So looking at everything now, it's kind of sorted back out to the way it was during the beginning of the race. We got Robert Barris out front with a 9.1 second lead over 2nd place, the 76 of Joshua Jones. Right there, the 10 machine, that is Todd Cray, our 3rd place car. Behind him, the 127, that is Sean Bradley. He is our 4th place car. And behind that will be the 77 of Seth Schultz, even though that is the 28 of Adam Nowinski there. So Adam is still fighting to get up there. Right now, he is being scored in 13th, 1 lap down. So he's still got to make his way around, as right now he's going around 3rd place. He's still got to get around the 76 and then clear the 75 to just get back on the lead lap. As right now we got to battle for position here for 3rd spot, the 127. He tried, but could not do it coming there out of turn 4. So we can see Todd rocking the Parents Against Distracted Drivers paint scheme. So Adam's still, I think he's put a little bit more of his sack out there on the dash a little bit because he's starting to gap the 10, but he still has to make up a lot of ground to be able to get back on the tail end of the lead lap. So you see the 43 and the 31 and the 5. This is all 4th position here. All 3 cars at 1 lap down. And we finally reached the point where we are counting down the laps instead of counting them up. And we are down 1 car, so there's 16 cars remaining. The 4 of Caleb Thompson decided to bring that car behind the wall. So that's going to end his race. As right now we've got the 23 of Corey Brown and the 127 of Sean Bradley. As Corey splits it 3 wide, going through 3 and 4 there. Power move by the 23.
That took some balls.
Yes, it did. Now that was not for position, but Corey was on a mission. He didn't want to get slowed up, as the 127 does make it around the 10. So hand third spot over to Sean Bradley, and that'll put Todd Gray back to 4th. But I don't think Todd's going to take that too easily. I think that 3 wide kind of forced a hand on that one. So nothing has changed out front, as now we see the 6 of Rodney Kramer. He's going to motor around these 2 guys here. Rodney is on fresher tires. And it does appear that the 127 is going to maintain and hold his spot over the 10 of Todd Gray. 68 of James Brown on pit road. And looking at the gap between first and second, we have a 10-second interval between the 2. And then throw another almost 5 seconds on top of that back to right here, the 127 of Sean Bradley. And we see that the 77 there, Seth Schultz, he's starting to gain a lot of time there on the 10. So look here in a lap or 2 for that 77 to try and make a move on the 10 of Todd Gray, as he's right there on his back bumper as they come down the backstretch into turn 3. He's going to dive low here. They come to the quad oval. He should have the momentum to be able to clear him, as he does. So hand 4th spot over to the 77. That'll cycle Todd back to 5th. 25 of Rusty Farrell on pit road now. So we're going to see our 2nd round of green flag stops going here. This will be our final round of green flag pit stops. So now's going to be the time where it's going to be interesting to see what the 28 of Adam Nowinski can do, seeing how he's doing a one-stop shop. And we see now the 10 of Todd Gray coming down pit road. So we see the 10 coming down pit road. We see the 25 coming off of pit road. So let's see, Todd's going to slide it in there. Undoubtedly, he's more than likely going to take 4 tires and fuel. We had a little bit of a wheel spin there. But the battle is on. Seth just cleared the 127 of Sean Bradley, so that'll move the 77 up to 3rd spot. He is 15.5 seconds behind our current race leader. And 2nd place, the 76, is right now sitting at a 10.6 second deficit. So all 5 of the top 5 have pitted now. Leader, pit road, the 75 of Robert Barris. He is making his way down pit road. So that will hand things over to the 76. Oh, 76 is coming down as well. So 1st and 2nd are coming down pit road right now. So 127 is coming down as well. That will hand the lead over to the 77 of Seth Schultz. .113 is going to make his way down pit road. Now we're going to sit and see how long the 77 opts to stay out. I wouldn't stay out more than probably 5 laps, knowing that Robert has already gone down pit road as well as the 76 of Josh Jones. I'd be trying to get down pit road as quick as possible and or try and get as much of a gap as we can see that 77, we saw the 75 coming back out. He is a lap down right now, but he's undoubtedly going to be flying by as he is on fresh tires.
Yeah, I would expect to see Seth down within the next 5 laps for sure.
Usually all these races dictate off of when Robert pits. When we see Robert pit, usually that's the indicator that a lot of people are going to start diving down pit road.
Yeah, it's actually been interesting, though. There's been a lot of different strategies played out here. We usually don't see, 5 or 6 different strategies. It's usually 1 or 2 different strategies going on.
That, and for the track that we're at, especially being daytime, we're seeing a lot of different lines being run versus what we normally would see. We saw earlier 3 different drivers, 3 different lines in one corner. So a lot of things that are non-typical to Charlotte racing we're seeing here tonight as they continue to keep it green flag as we're under 40 laps to go here. So looking at everything with the stop, Robert only lost 2 positions as he's being scored in 4th. Well, actually 3 because he was the leader, but still, redneck math. We're going to go on a crank it up with a 75 and see what he can do here.
The leader, 77, Seth Schultz, down pit road. That hands the race lead back to Robert Barris.
Let me see, that didn't take very long. The gap is not really that big, but the 77 of Seth came down pit road, as Mike had mentioned, and we're down to 28 laps remaining here at Charlotte. So another run through of the field here. Out front, once again, it is the 75 of Robert Barris. Second goes to the 28 of Adam Nowinski, who is rocking the one-stop strategy here. Third goes to the 31 of Douglas Hess. Corey Brown in the 23 fourth. Joshua Jones in the 76 fifth. The 10 of Todd Cray sixth. The 127 of Sheldon Bradley seventh. James Brown in the 68 eighth. The 66 of Ralph Vandervorst 9th. John Morris in the 43 rounds out the top 10. The 77, which we see right there, Seth Schultz, he is our 11th place car. Josh Stewart in the 113 in 12th. The 25 of Rusty Farrell, first car lap down, 13th position. The 80 of Adam Jones, 14th, also one lap down, as well as our 15th place car, the 6 of Rodney Kramer, and rounding out the field will be the 5 of Brad Spottle, and we've got Douglas Hess on pit road, so 31 pit road this time. Alright, now we're looking at 4th and 5th right here. Actually, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Adam is going to fall off. So there goes the 76 up to 2nd. The 10 is going to make his way around for 3rd. The 127 wants to tag along, and he'll take another spot, as it doesn't appear that the one-stop strategy is paying off for the 28. He just dumped 3 spots right there. Went from 2nd to 5th. And the 80 of Adam Jones is able to make it around as well. He is not for position, but it just goes to show with the tire fall off and how you're going to have to run this car knowing that you're doing the one-stop strategy. We might see, as we see the 127 there, get a little piece of the wall. Just a little tail slap, nothing, no damage that I can see. Surely didn't slow him down any, as we see our 2nd place car right there. That is the 76 of Josh Jones. Rocking my other counterpart when I'm not on track. I've got the, obviously, Martin Truex Bass Tracker paint scheme, and he rocks the Realtree camo. Now we see the 127 potentially trying to look to try and get around the 10 for 3rd. It does appear. Oh yeah, it does appear that the 10 and the 127 are kind of catching the 76. It is definitely go time. We are going to be coming to 19 laps to go. They've done a great job keeping this race green flag for over 100 laps. Let's see if they can do it for 19 more.
127's got to be smart here. Set the 10 up and make it work. He's got to get to his outside if he wants to make that pass.
So you see the 10 there taking a little bit of evasive maneuvers there, breaking the draft there on the backstretch. We don't really necessarily associate the draft too much with a 1.5 miles, but anytime that you have a car that's close to another one and you've got a straight section of track, there is going to be some draft involved. So that's why you saw the 10 shoot down to the inside. He was breaking that nice clean pocket of air between him and the 127 and try and gain a little ground on him to get away from him. So with a 12-second and growing lead, it's still the 75 of Robert Barris out front. And right now we are watching the battle for second, third, and fourth here between the 76, the 10, and the 127. And now we're starting to see the 76 a little bit more in picture as these two guys are marching up. But 15 laps to go. They've got to make up a little bit more time to get around the 76 if the 10 wants second in that 127, who we've seen him all night. He's been consecutively just staying up inside the top 10. If you look at the laps led right now, Robert Barris in the 75 has 94 and counting. The only person that can bring more to the table than that would be the 28 of Adam Nowinski with 15, and the 77 of Seth Schultz with 9. Now, as weird as it may seem, I think it'd be more beneficial if the 127 and the 10 kind of work together a little bit to stay hooked up with each other and gain that time on the 76, but then it's just going to come down to gloves coming off as we see the 31 there, Douglas Hess. That is not for position. He is on fresher tires. This could open up the door for the 127, but it didn't, which is actually a smarter move, because if these two can stay lined up, it does look like they're appearing to start falling off now. They were gaining ground on that 76 machine, but now you can see that the 76 is starting to pull back away from them again. So if they can stay hooked up and not worry about going for position and just give a little bit of a push going down the back stretches, now we see the 127 looking on the inside as they come off of turn 2. Don't think that's going to manifest anything. I mean, he's going to try and drive it in there, but we know the outside is definitely going to have the run off. As we can see right there, it's already dying as Todd's going to be able to power out. And looking at the intervals, it's staying pretty consistent, about 1.5 seconds between the 76 and the 10. It goes up and it goes down within about a few hundredths, but it's pretty much staying right around the same. Now it's actually gone up a little bit, so I think everybody's kind of at that spot where they're kind of falling off, as we see the 6 of Rodney Kramer, the 68 of James Brown, and the 28 of Adam Nowinski. Now the 28 and the 68 are for position. That is for 6th spot. Right now the 28 is holding down 6th. The 68 of James Brown in 7th, looking to take advantage of it and try and get around Adam as he is on that one tire stop. I think it will not be that hard as James is right there right now. He's going to try and make the move as they go through the quad oval. He should have it by the time they get into turn 1 here, as Adam does have a lot of laps on those tires. So Adam will fall back to 7th. Next for position will be the 23 of Corey Brown. You see him, he's the second car back there. There's the 5 of Brad Speidel. So right now the gap is still growing as the laps are coming to a close here, where there'll be 6 at the line. Robert Barris with a 13.3 second lead, as we see he is coming up on the 23 of Corey Brown to put him down a lap. Corey right now is the last car on the lead lap, but he is about to become the first car a lap down, as Robert is going to do it as they come around this time. The next car that Robert's going to put his sights on is going to be the 113 of Joshua Stewart. There are now 8 cars on the lead lap, and it'll be 5 laps to go at the stripe. As once again, the 75 of Robert Barris is putting on yet another dominating performance, as it doesn't seem to matter what league I've raced in or broadcasted, Robert's usually out front if he's there racing. He's definitely one of the hardest guys I've seen to beat, short of Jason. We need to bring him back and see what Jason can do with Robert.
I think we need a drug test for performance-enhancing drugs.
I agree. So 4 laps remaining here at Charlotte, as we see the 43 there of John Morris. 2 laps down in 16th place. He's going to take one of those laps back the hard way, so now he will be down only 1 lap, but with 3 laps to go at the line, everybody would have to retire the car behind the wall right now, as we see the heavily damaged number 5 machine there. He's currently being scored in 15th, 1 lap down, but there's your leader, only a few cars behind. It'll be 2 laps to go next time by. So we're down to the wire here. And what better way to run this than and crank it up? Eight more corners to go, and Robert's got this thing in the bag with a 13.6 second lead and still gaining. White flag is out. Last lap here at Charlotte. 4 more corners and Robert Barris will bring home that checkered flag. He's just going to patiently ride behind these guys. He's got plenty of time to sit there and do it. He doesn't want to take the chance of putting pressure on somebody and causing them to wreck, but as he comes through turn 3 and 4 for the final time, all he's got to do is cross that checkered stripe, and as we go on board with him, race in the books, hand it to the 75 of Robert Barris. The 76 of Joshua Jones is going to bring it home in second, and the 10 of Todd Cray is going to bring it home in third spot tonight. So, absolutely dominating performance by the 75 of Robert Barris, as he led 108 of the 133 laps. As Robert gets ready here to burn it down. He's going to do the salute to the fans first. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our third place finisher, the 10 of Todd Cray, and see how his race went. All right, Todd, you brought it home third tonight. You showed a lot of promise and potential early on. How did it feel to kick off the season here with the K&N cars? Dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties here. We'll move around. We'll get that sorted out. We'll bring in our second place finisher, the 76 of Josh Jones. All right, Josh, opening race here at Charlotte. You bring it home second. That's got to be a great feeling. How did the race go for you?
Yeah, it was a pretty good run. It went as expected. I just had to fight back through there at the beginning. I was up 5 seconds behind after the first pit stop. From there, I just kept losing a little bit of time each pit stop.
Now we saw multiple strategies and multiple lines being run. The 28 of Adam Nowinski did a one-stop race, and we ultimately saw that that hurt him a lot, especially towards the latter stages of this race. But as always here, it seems to be with Diehard, at 1.5 mile tracks, we usually go green flag the entire way. So how important was strategy to you going into tonight's race?
Well, it's pretty important. I had to save a little at certain times, just depending where the other races were at.
Next week we move on to Michigan. Any thoughts about that track?
This should be pretty good. I have to do a little practice this week to gain some speed.
All right, well, congratulations on a strong start to the season. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank?
Thank you. Thanks, Seth, and all the guys.
All right, that was our second place finisher, and apparently we have technical difficulties with the 10 of Todd Cray. His mic is not working, so we will pull in Mr. One and Only, Mr. Showboater, who's still burning it down right now, our race winner, the 75 of Robert Barris. Well, surprise, surprise, look who we're interviewing for the win again, none other than Robert.
Hi, guys.
You might as well pull up a seat and just join us up here in the booth. You're always a regular. Like I was saying, it doesn't matter what league that I'm racing or broadcasting, you're always up in here. So you've got like a little plaque on the wall, like the Employee of the Month thing. How'd the race go?
I thought the race was excellent. Everybody raced with a lot of respect and clean, evidenced by no cautions coming out, which for the first race of the season at Charlotte is commendable. So everybody in the field needs to get a shout out for that. I was able, starting on the pole and being able to control kind of the race. I got enough of a gap there at the beginning that I could just ride and save the tires. And I think you saw probably after 20 or so laps, everybody kind of started to fall off of me. And so then at that point, it was just a matter of holding that clean air, holding that lead. No mistakes coming on and off pit road. And no cautions coming out to kind of reset it, group everybody back up. And yeah, that's pretty much what needed to happen.
We definitely saw a lot of different strategies and a lot of different lines that normally we would not see at Charlotte Day. I think at one point we saw in one corner 3 drivers, 3 different lines, all making it stick, and probably I think the most risky, and it definitely showed in the later stage, was the 28 of Adam Nowinski with a one-stop race. First it looked like a good idea, and then the latter parts we saw him falling off. He still did manage to pull out a 7th place, but kind of figured he was banking on a caution to happen. But it seems to be the trend. Anytime that we're at a 1.5 mile track, we usually go green flag here, which is one of the things that I absolutely love about this league. But it didn't work out in his favor. And as we move on next week to Michigan, we know you're fast there, but we got to get inside your head. What's your plan of attack when we go to Michigan next week?
I think Michigan's going to be kind of the same thing. It's going to be track position, clean air, being able to control your pace so that you can preserve your tires over the long run. Being in the lead, being up front is the best way to do that. I've not had a lot of success at Michigan. I think I could get some top fives, but I don't know if I've won anything in the league there. So we're going to be looking to and trying to take care of that one if we can.
Well, if there's one thing that you are very, very consistent. So whether we're calling this one or racing against you next week, it's definitely going to be everything kind of revolves around you when it comes to the pit strategy and all that. We see you come down pit road, it usually triggers out all the rest of us to come down. But first race of the season in the books, green flag all the way. You bring home the checkered flag. Best night ever. Who would you like to thank?
Well, I think Seth and Rodney and you guys, everybody who organizes the league, and I'm gonna exclude myself from that one. All the drivers who join us, again, without the drivers here, there's kind of no point, right? The drivers are what makes this fun, being able to race against guys who race you clean, race you hard, and generally get along. We don't have any problems in the chat or on the track, and as you saw tonight, we were able to get 133 laps at Charlotte, pretty clean, no cautions. So thanks to the drivers most of all.
Once again, congratulations on that win, and we will see you next week at Michigan.
10-4.
All right. Unfortunately, we do not have, there's something wrong with the 10 teams radio communication, so we will not be able to get the third place interview in. But we will go through tonight's results, coming home with the dominating performance, the 75 of Robert Bears. He's going to be the winner takes all. The 76 of Josh Jones brings it home second. The 10 of Todd Cray third. The 127 of Sean Bradley fourth. Seth Schultz in the 77 fifth. The 68 of James Brown sixth. Adam Nowinski on a one-stop race brings it home seventh. The 113 of Joshua Stewart is going to bring it home eighth tonight. Corey Brown, despite having a slightly stung Stinger motor, is going to bring it home ninth. Douglas Heston, the 31, rounds out the top 10. 11th goes to the 66 of Ralph Vandervorst. Rusty Farrell brings it home 12th in the 25. The 80 of Adam Jones 13th. The 5 of Brad Speidel 14th. Rodney Kramer in the Viagra machine 15th. John Morris in the 43 16th, and Caleb Thompson in the 4 is going to round out the field tonight. So once again, though, great job by all the drivers here. Charlotte is not an easy track to go green flag the entire way, especially during the day. And as you guys can see right now, looking at the track, the amount of rubber that is in those corners. So hats off to the drivers for going green flag from start to finish. It was a great race to watch. There was a lot of strategy calls, just a lot of good racing, no wrecking. Everybody was polite, giving people room. Couldn't ask for anything better to start out the season, as next week we move to Michigan, and we might possibly be back in the booth for that one, or we'll be out on track. But either way, I can have it thrown up and be broadcasting. Mike, you got any final words before we throw this one in the books?
No, it just shows, this race is a typical Diehard League racing, race, and everyone's super clean and very respectful. And, hopefully with us broadcasting this today, it gets a few more people in here and someone sees it and says, you know what, I like that league. I like the fact that everyone's clean, everyone's respectful, and they want to join.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Diehard Racing League. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight and everybody here at Diehard Racing and Diehard Live TV. We've had a blast, and we will see you guys next time.